So David, let me build on this and turn the tables and ask everybody here a question, because you just offered a delicious segue by number one saying evolution is not over, and number two announcing that we ain't gonna see any of the old prophets coming back. So that's a wonderful platforming for me to ask the following question, because we have been, all of us here, journeying together for a while. And in our recent current openings event, we spoke about the idea of the post-guru phase. And we suggested that we have entered a post-guru time. And it's that which I would like to ask you about, which is, what do you perceive or understand is the significance or the meaning? What does it mean for you when we say that we have entered the post-guru phase? And just to give you some, because I didn't give you any warning, so to give you a moment to collect your thoughts about this. Here we are, David and I, we don't present ourselves as gurus. However, we do have points of views about all sorts of small and large topics. So how do we think about this proposition of a post-guru phase? Historically, traditionally, teachers used to have three large roles. They would be lineage keepers, okay, keep a body of work, keep a path, whatever, in the East or the West, so people would know that that tradition is kept through several generations. Number two, their job, the second function was, there was a reliable, known place you could come to, and somebody would actually offer you the guidance if you were one of those truth seekers, wisdom seekers, development seekers. That was a lineage keeper, a guru, a teacher, a coach to offer somebody direction. And the third function sometime was to evolve, in some occasions evolve the lineage into its next new frontier. Some have done that. Now, true, all along these centuries, there were always problematic elements in the guru-student dynamics. This is part of a different conversation. We'll attend to that conversation another time. We are nevertheless saying or asserting this proposal that something shifted, something ended. And when we talked about it in the context of the three lives in the event, what we said was, just a gesture of how to think about it was, well, we have entered time where each person is invited to take fuller responsibility to their development journey. So that's how we premised and left it very much there as a seeded idea. But there are still questions, many questions, such as, well, so how is one to think about a development journey in this time? And do you need a teacher? And if yes, what is the place of the teacher? So I'm not asking you to, each one of us could talk about this for probably an hour, then it will be a 4-hour episode. But if you needed to offer an entry thought, a starter idea, a starter consideration of what it means for you to contemplate the idea, whether you agree, and if you agree to it, that we have entered a post-guru time, where do you see the development path inside this new phase? And what comes alive for you when you hear the post-guru time of development? Please.
Yes, I think it's quite obvious that we are in the end of an era. And it just takes one to have a look around and see that our whole society is like a big pot that is burning. A lot of the old paradigms have lost their peace, have lost their current energy that used to sustain humanity. And obviously the leaders, even the leaders of countries, the spiritual leaders, they seem to not be able to cope with the situation, with the challenges of our world, of our times. They can agree with each other, so they can bring solutions. They cannot diffuse crisis, and so people we lose our trust to that they used to be there. On the other hand, I see that there is a part in us that always loves maybe to surrender our responsibility to someone who is more ahead on the way in their development. And it's maybe the child in us that wants to be mothered and fathered. Um, but I think maybe some clue is that now we need to be, because no one is trustworthy, one. The situation is so complicated that I don't think one person can bring the solution. And a new consciousness or new intelligence is coming, is available together with the new challenges. So it needs more than one person, I think. So what I would say, the post-guru quest for me is in 3 steps. The one is that you become responsible for yourself. So of course you can be influenced and inspired by others, but you will make your own North Star, as you said before. What is your purpose? And you are the last to decide about your life. And the other is in that we can be the guru of each other. So we can be the guru of ourselves. We can be the guru of each other. And maybe a person you meet in the street that you haven't never met before, and yet they can be the person that will unlock a very special truth for you. So yeah, so to be open to that. And there's the third thing, I think that life itself is a guru. Life that is never stopping. As David said, I love this notion of God being a go, I have the word being for God, being. Um, so life, it's teaching you all the time. It may be grounding you. It may be taking you up, taking you down, taking you all over the place. And this unknown aspect of life and the fact that it never ceases to evolve and to rush in, I think is the greatest guru. So that's what I would say.
Wonderful. Please, Patrick.
Very interesting question, because my upbringing, I had a very strict, conventional, religious upbringing. There was a priest, there was a church, there was a central authority. They told you what to do, what to believe, and you just followed rules. And that never worked for me at all. Even as a kid, I just thought you could look around and you could see the hypocrisy and see how rituals and ceremonies with nothing behind them just did nothing for me. But at the same time, I had certain experiences within this overall sort of religious context that said, there's something here for the human, but I'm not finding it here. So my whole life, I have been running away from gurus, central authority, anyone who says they have the answer. That's never attracted me. What I've wanted is I've always felt that it's possible for me, just little old me, to connect to the universe, and I can connect to God, and I can have my own relationship with the future, with the cosmos, but I didn't know how to do it. So I've been looking for knowledge and information on how do I get myself switched on to where I can be and have a spiritual future. But I've always been very suspicious of central authority figures who say they have the answer and follow me and I will take you there, because my experience has been they don't. They have information and they have clues. And so for me, it's kind of this lifelong tension between you find someone who's really bright, and I think he knows something or she knows something that I want to know, but I don't want them as my teacher, as my guru. I'm not going to follow them. I want to know what they know and find out how they got there. So I guess with me, it's not sort of a post-guru. I've always been running away from anything that had that kind of a role and looking more for connections and information and knowledge and how to do it myself. And sometimes that does involve finding some very smart people who have done it and are willing to share and help you along the way without becoming that central authority. And there's just a big difference between someone who has been there and wants to show you the way, as opposed to someone who wants a following. I know the answer, come and follow me, and I'll take you there.
Great what's been said. I agree with everything. My thoughts would start with the confidence and my inner confirmation so that I can trust in myself. And as everyone has said, it's great to have teachers, and I hope there are people who consider me their teacher. So it's a give and a get. But it starts with going inward and believing in oneself. That's where it would start. And the other point I would bring up, as we talked today, I made some notes here about detecting and inquiring and all the questions and how we tune in and what's the evidence and self-leadership. So for me, my quest right now is seeking the truth. And I think that's a big part of what we do here on all the current openings and in portals in general, is seeking what is the real truth of today that can take us into the future so that we can offer service and we can, find a journey that offers the greatest purpose. So to me, listening to that, detecting what is the real truth of the moment, that can lead this life to the future. And then I don't have to rely on what I'm told. So that's what I would put in.
Yeah, wonderful. Lisa, maybe we can start a new meme on the internet. There is a meme called Deep Fake. Maybe we can start a meme called Deep Truth.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the things that have been said earlier point to the idea that every life matters to the universe. It's easy as tiny beings on a planet in a huge universe can feel, what does it matter what I do? But I think this kind of idea that we are conduits for the possibility of the universe, we have a role to play. Its possibility is our possibility. And so with that great gift comes great responsibility. So I think just, people today have come to understand what a carbon footprint means in terms of their responsibility and what their effect on the world around them. So maybe we could talk about a cosmic footprint and what is the ripple from our life into the planet, into our communities, into the planet, into the universe, and taking responsibility for that. And like any form of life, it seems that there's always a point where you have to be kicked out of the nest and you have to fly on your own. So the post-guru, I think the maybe the planet and the human race has reached this point of it needs to be kicked out of its nest. It needs an evolution. It needs an upgrade, needs to step up to a new level of maturity. And I think that comes to, what's been said, but, it's kind of a personal religion of, the phrase I wrote down was a personal religion of what works, because everyone has a different battle to fight in themselves, psychologically, shadow, all these things. We all have different battles, different gifts and different challenges. So it's finding what works and continuing to grow and taking the responsibility to always grow and seek out, that next information, the next clue, and being open to the signals of the universe, as we've spoken, that it can tell us if we're watching for the guidance and for the information to come to us. We're open to it. We can receive, and we just stay open like that.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Indeed. David, anything you'd add to this beautiful kaleidoscopic picture we're developing here?
Curiously enough, what turned up in my head is the mastery and the mystery. That is that there's a certain level of mastery required in the post-guru quest to, in a way, be one's own master or master of oneself to a certain level, and then be open to the mystery of what's next. So one doesn't then come to the assumption that, well, now I've become a master, so now I become a guru and I teach everybody about the fixed signals that I'm now aware of, because meanwhile the mystery moves on. So the universe moves on and can leave the guru bleating about what was the case 20 years ago or 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago. But meanwhile, the universe isn't listening to that. The universe is moving on. So there's a degree of self-mastery, but not to then be able to become a criteria upon others, but to be able to be open to the mystery of what's on setting next. So I think there's a beautiful kind of relationship between those two aspects. The necessary mastery, maybe the mastery of the lower, to be able to be open in the higher, like manage the lower to pioneer the higher, or be open or available to a new incoming signal that's not something that's already represented on the planet. Because if it's already represented on the planet, it's already here, it's already manifested, and that means it's already secured here. But what isn't secured is what's coming in new now, or next week, or next year, or the year after, which is why I see as we move on, we leave behind the foundations of what have brought us to this point. So we give them respect, we give them honor, we give them thanks, but we don't copy them. We don't say that's it. We're now copying. Our job is to copy what happened 1,000 years ago ongoingly for the next 10,000 years. That doesn't make any sense against what Lisa said, the truth of the universe, which is it moves on. So I'm caught with that relationship between those twin dynamics, the mastery and the mystery.
Yes, yes, indeed. And so what I'm noticing through all your answers and all of your live in the moment contemplations is that when we use the term, when we describe a post-guru phase, we're describing merely a feature, one facet of an evolutionary process. It's highlighting certain element of evolution is not over, as you said, David. And the sense of becoming attuned to the cosmic footprint, I like that, Peter. I think that's the name of a future episode. And seeing and recognizing with both the deeper truth and the real truth of whatever situation you're in, and the sense of responsibility, self-responsibility that Kira spoke to. And Patrick, in what you offer, that sense of you've always intuitively felt that the idea was the human is given everything in terms of its equipment, and the idea was not to become a copycat of anybody else. And so could we look around and find whatever truth, wisdom, inspiration we could find through the lens of responsibility and recognizing that we are sculpting our own future. We are, in a way, by sculpting our own future, we are sculptors of the universe on behalf of the universe. So that is actually the kind of partnering relationship that human participation in the universe is about. So it strikes me that what we have done here in this first experiment of questions and answers, and then turning the table and asking the question back at you, we've opened many starters and seeded possibilities. And so if you stayed with us through to this point, first, you're welcome to join future events, current openings events, and you're welcome to come to the open circle and be part of the conversation, be part of creating and shaping these conversations. Ultimately, what we are saying is that part of the post-guru phase is one where we are each co-creating the conversation. And that is the central inspiration for the Portals project. We are all invited to co-create the conversation. And perhaps that is one place where Peter's question about where is the future appearing, well, could it be that the future is appearing through new conversations where we discover ourselves with each other, the new ideas, the new connections, the new possibilities. And so please come join us. And thank you for this discovery. Until next, thank you very much.
Thank you, Aviv. Thanks,
Thank
folks.
you all.
Thank you.
Along with our website at portalsofperception.org, Portals is also available on YouTube and on all podcast platforms, as well as social media. You can become an active member and join the conversation in community events. And you can help us get the word out by liking this content and by sharing it with your friends.